guys just act natural. Try not to talk a lot, okay? So today I'd like to offer up some yogic information on shoulder neck release and soothing the digestive system. So for any sort of digestive disorders like indigestion, gastroparesis, irritable bowel syndrome, and then also some breath work. The way that this all works together, the breathing initially helps you target the parasympathetic nervous system, which is ultimately what teaches you how to relax into your body. So we can start in a corpse pose, lying flat on your back. And you'll need some props. So today I have a large hand towel, 2 small washcloths, 2 blocks, a blanket. And I'm going to give you a couple of options here. So if you have discomfort in the low back, you can start with the knees together, the feet apart, and the tailbone and the shoulders will be on the ground. This lifts the natural lumbar curve away from the floor. That can feel really nice. If there is neck discomfort, which I'm currently experiencing, you can take your 2 tea towels, and I sleep with this sometimes, right? You can start with one and you'll roll it up like you're rolling up a burrito. And I know I'm a twosie, so I'm just going to go ahead and wrap the second one over it. But you'll start with one, and as you roll it up, you create a neck bolster. If you feel up the back of your head, there's like a lump or a nub, that's the base of the occipital ridge. You'll take the little tea towel in your corpse pose or in your bent knee pose, so just below that ridge, and that feels pretty spectacular, right? And then from there, I want you to lay a hand on your belly. So I'll put my thumb into my belly button. And as I inhale, I want to feel the breath move down toward my hand. I don't want to keep the breath shallow in my shoulders. That's a breath that I see in people that are very stressed out, right? That high shoulder breathing. So we want to take this deep, deep, deep down into the belly. And you can close your eyes and relax into this. I think you will enjoy it more. So inhaling and exhaling through the nose. Just initially feeling the hand rise and fall with the belly. On your next inhale, I want you to gently hold the breath inside of the body. Feel that lovely expansion from the belly up toward maybe belly button or high belly or low ribs. And when you go to exhale, you can actually use your hand to push down into the abdomen as you squeeze the belly button into the spine. And as you inhale, you feel the belly expanding, you feel the hand lifting. And you gently pause. The way that you choose to retain the breath, it can have like a verbal implication. So, holding the breath. We're taught to hold the breath by diving underwater. That's a stressful environment. Because if you stop holding the breath, you're going to drown. You're not going to drown. Don't approach breathing like you're drowning. Approach breathing like it was something you were born to do. So I never stop inhaling. I just keep the back of the throat open and I continue to try to feather breath through the back of the throat. And then on the exhale again, I can use the hand to kind of gently press into the abdomen. And as I press, this time, I start to target the belly button in toward the spine. So I actually squeeze the belly button in. And I might feel the pelvic floor draw together and lift up gently as well. And I can pause for a moment there, and I'll feel very small, or I'll feel a contraction, I'll feel a drawing tightness across the abdominals. And then I inhale again. So that initially just gets you kind of into the pit of the belly and starts to relax all of that tissue that, if you have digestive disorders, can be so troubling. Keeping your hand on your belly, where your pinky finger is kind of lying, I want you to try to inhale and expand down into the point of the pinky finger. And then exhale. And as you exhale again, you're squeezing the belly button in. You might feel that upward lifting. And again, inhale down into the point of the pinky finger. Gentle pause. Exhale. So we just learned how to move the breath even lower. We're going to continue moving the breath into all region of the belly. From there, I want you to inhale and feel the breath expand down into pinky and up toward thumb. Pause. And as you exhale, squeeze everything out like you were creating a vacuum across the belly and the pelvic floor. Breathe again. Inhale, expanding into pinky, feeling up toward thumb. And exhaling, feeling everything kind of merge toward the spine, almost like a vine wrapping around a post. Take your other hand and place it, so whatever, pinky finger to thumb, and thumb towards sternum. So you have kind of like flute fingers, right? Like so. And you're going to use the hands over the belly to continue to monitor expansion. Right, so you're going to inhale down into pinky, thumb, and then see if you can get up toward, pinky or index finger on the top hand. And exhale. So you just continue expanding the breath, inhaling, trying to feel edges of the ribs flaring out away from the belly button. Holding it there, maybe even bringing the hands to the edges of the ribs, feeling them expand. And possibly bringing the hands up to the collarbone. So the final destination would be one hand at the belly and one hand over the front of the throat, or just at the base of the throat where the collarbones come together. Collarbones, where the collar would be on a shirt, where the bones join collarbones. So the movement is breath down into the belly from pinky finger to ring finger to middle finger to index to thumb, up through the diaphragm tissue toward the base of the sternum, out into the edges of the ribs, and up to the hand at the top of the chest. Now when you go to exhale, exhale, the sensations, the movements go in the same order. So it would be a lowering through pinky finger, belly button, space between ribs up to sternum, sides of ribs, and collarbones. Make sense? So integrate the pauses at the top of the inhale and really enjoy how consciously you can start to move into your body, so you can actually occupy what you've housed inside of your body, in the lungs, in the belly, in the digestive system, in the low back, in the kidneys, between the shoulders, the back of the heart. This is all tissue that you're starting to feel as you breathe. And in a way, this is a form of meditation, right? And as the digestive system, relax your toes. Right? Move your feet apart, keep your knees together. If I can see visible tension in your body, the pranayama is not working. This stuff works when the body starts to actually feel like it's melting, right? Like you're becoming one with the mat. So if you can reduce the stress in your body just by breathing, and if you can relax the digestive system, which is the part of your body that demands the most energy, you're going to learn how to spend energy in the body more wisely. You're going to have more energy. You're going to have less stress. You'll also make wiser eating choices. I found when I practice regularly and I do these digestive releases, I know when I shouldn't eat certain foods. From there, we'll take wind relieving pose. So you'll extend. If you have the feet in corpse pose, you'll bring the feet to the floor and separate the knees to under the hips. Your toes should be pointing straight down the mat. Your ankles should be somewhere underneath your knees. You can check to see where that might be by reaching the fingers down toward the heels so you can graze the back of the heels. And then the knees separate. The right leg will lift and pull up and into the chest. And then from there, I want you to press down into the left heel and actively, without lifting the heel, actively push the heel down the length of the mat. So I'm reaching out through the left heel, pressing into the left heel and hugging that right leg in pretty tight. Initially, I can grab with the fingers woven together. Eventually, I can work up toward maybe a wrist or a forearm bind. If the knee needs to slip over a little wider because of, the way your body is formed, that's okay. This is an ascending colon massage. If you can relax into this after you've lengthened that left leg out as far as you can take it, you're relaxing that part of the digestive system that where the food enters at its starting point in the digestive tract, and then we work toward. This is an actual lymphatic technique of massaging the food in the direction of exit, the descending colon. This is a great series of movements that can be done in bed in the morning. You'll know it's working because you'll hear some gurgling and some burbling, and this pose is called wind relieving pose because you might fart. And if you haven't farted in a yoga class before, then you will. I was going to say you haven't had a good release in a yoga class. It happens. Yes, I farted in yoga class before, but I have skills to SBDF my farts. Right? It's like I ghosted someone with that. You blame it on your neighbor. Don't do that. That's not cool. Cough really loudly. You gotta cough and fart at the same time, though, if you're trying to cover it. So I was studying with my teacher today, and a lot of the stuff that we learn about in like the subtle or the actual science and education of yoga ties back into acupuncture and traditional Chinese medicine meridian theory. So people that have digestive disorders, the inner thighs and the glutes are associated with digestive issues. So releasing the inner thighs and releasing the glutes can provide a release in the digestive system, just as a side note. Alright, so from there you'll take your right foot back to the floor, right knee bent, right foot on the floor, bring the left foot into the same starting position, fingers reach down to grace for the heels, knees underneath ankles, and from there you'll roll the low back into the floor and lift the hips off the floor, and then see if you can get the glutes to fire, just the glutes. So think about squeezing or internally spiraling the thigh bones, the thigh muscles, to make the glutes fire. And you can reach back with your fingers and touch your butt muscles to see if the glutes indeed are firing. Try to keep the belly relaxed and the low back relaxed while you get the glutes to fire. So you want a gooey, soft belly while you're doing this. You can bring the hands to the belly again if you're ever kind of losing how to breathe all the way up the spine or all the way up the front of the spine. And then lower yourself down. And pull the left leg up and into the chest as we switch when we're leaving pose. You have a nice good squeeze there, and dorsiflex the right foot. So that's pull the toes back, press the heel into the mat, and begin to slowly push the right heel out like you were moving a brick of gold down the mat. Keep the left leg squeezing up and in if you want to reach up and grab for forearms or elbows. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely can feel some things in my gut moving around. If you're really actively reaching through the legs, maybe take a moment to relax and relax the left foot, relax the right foot. Just use the arms to grip the leg in. And breathe softly and fully into the belly. And as you release the digestive system and you start spending energy more wisely, because the digestive system is relaxed, you might start to feel some release in the low back as well. You might not have even noticed for however long that you kept the low back locked down. And then when I ask you to lay down in corpse pose, it's not so terrible. From there you can release and hug both knees into the chest. The knees can separate as wide as they need to, for your body type, or you can go in and try to hold at the wrists, the forearms, or the elbows. And this time you can curl your nose up and in towards your knees and put your chin into your throat so you become like a giant human roly-poly. And then relax back. Bring your hands to inside of your knees. Separate the knees. This is a restorative position. My feet are still together. It's kind of the take on dead bug. So I can hold over my knees. And I'm basically just kind of, I want to say I'm free balling here, to be totally honest with you. Like I'm in a very vulnerable position, but I can feel kind of the roots of my body releasing and opening. That's right, I said root. from there, if you like, you can reach your hand up along the inside of the knee toward the ankle, toward the heel, or toward the big toe. As you lift the sole of the foot up toward the ceiling for a half a happy baby on just one leg. So start with one leg and get the framing right. So this is a hip inner thigh stretch, also associated with digestive process and release. For Ananda Balasana or Happy Baby, lots of variations. You can go in with peace fingers and grab a hold of the big toesy and really bend and try to pull the knee toward the floor. Keep the sole of the foot parallel to the ceiling. Keep the shoulder dragging down and away from the ear. You can also catch over the arch of the foot or the heel. More classical variation, the hand moves to the blade edge of the foot, and you pull through the blade edge of the foot. So doing one side at a time can be really informative because we tend to teach yoga asanas with both sides at the same time. And then you start fully inhabiting your body and you're like, wait a second, why does the left side feel so different? Well, because you assumed it was the same as the right side. You assumed it had the same functionality. If you're right-handed, you've used the right side of your body to do a lot of things, and you just don't have consciousness in the left side of your body that you could have, and vice versa if you're left-handed. So this can be really informative. Go ahead and come back into your dead bug variation. Just notice how the inner thighs, the hips, the belly, and the low back feels. I like to take my fingers in this variation, and I'll do a circular massage over the pit of the belly. So I'll start where my pinky was in the pranayama, and I'll come up toward the right hip crest, to under the riblets, up toward the sternum. This is diaphragmatic tissue. Down to the left. Oh, and you can feel the food in your digestive system. It gets a little freaky. Are you guys feeling it? Okay, so what you're saying is, dear body, I understand that food moves through my body this way, and you're just kind of helping it along. And if you do this on the regular, even if it's firm, even if it's hard, it'll start to soften up, right? All the while you're breathing as though this wasn't stressful or stress-creating or challenging. And then you'll do the other one-legged happy baby. So the right hand can reach up along the inside of the knee, and you'll find the heel, big toe, blade edge of the foot. So you pull down, sole of the foot remains parallel to the ceiling. Right knee might touch down, that's fine. If right knee touches down, you get this kind of like a wobbly roll effect. Don't pull it all the way down. You don't have to pull it all the way down, but keep the sole of the foot parallel to the ceiling. If you're trying to do that and you feel like you're rolling out, use your left hand as a brace. Push your left hand out in toward the right leg and try to, prevent yourself from falling. So you create a frame, you create a structure to hold yourself here. And more than anything, the pranayama, the breath work, that's where it's at. You can do the poses all day long till you're blue in the face, but if you're not feeling with the breath, you're missing out on so much of what is available to you to uncover and learn how to manage with grace. Or, with anger or whatever comes up, but deal with it. Full Ananda Balasana, you go in and grab both your heelsies, and you can, so Ananda means blissful baby. Imagine a little kid in a crib sucking on its toe, rolling all over the place. As grown-ups, it's not such an easy image to create or feel. You have to be kind of creative in your approach, playful. Can't take these poses too seriously. You look ridiculous, and it's okay. You look ridiculous when you're doing yoga. Hopefully you weren't one of those poor suckers that bought the sheer Lululemon pants when you're doing this pose, right? Oh, embarrassing. I was teaching a class at your body center one day. One of my students came up and said, "Are your underpants striped?" And I was like, "Oh God." Got rid of those tights. You see your yoga teacher rolling around with their panties showing through their pants, do him a favor and let them know. And then from there you can check, how tight the hamstrings are at this point in time. You can try straightening one leg or the other. Or maybe both. And I don't have to maintain the same grip I was in. I can, support behind the knees, over the calves, through the outside of the foot. I love these tights. Time you might be able to get the toes down. From there, hug your knees into your chest. And this is just kind of free form. You can circle, you can keep the knees in tight, back and forth, side to side. And then we rock and roll. Sweep the feet like you're gonna kick yourself in the butt. If you have a hard time doing this, you can start with the palms down and just literally try to kick yourself in the butt. And use the hands to push yourself up. And I think about pressing out through the heels like a donkey when I do this. So I call it a donkey kick. And you can find boat pose here. So here's the most user-friendly version of boat pose. I can put my feet down, I can hold over my knees or behind my knees as I lengthen the abdomen. As I get stronger in this variation, I can lift the feet off the floor and lengthen the arms, lengthen the abdomen some more. I want my drishti or my gaze to be upward. I'm not dumping the head back. It's terrible for the neck. If things are going well there, I can release the hands or straighten the legs. So you'll pick your variation and you'll start to feel your core heating up. I would encourage you as you inhale to massively expand the belly. And as you exhale to squeeze the shit out of the belly button. Set the feet down. Catch all the shins, shrug the shoulders away from the ear, lengthen the abdomen. So that can kind of irritate the tailbone. You can put a block or a blanket or some sort of softness under the tailbone if it bothers the tailbone. From there we'll take it in a more of a twisting approach. So you'll lengthen back and keep the feet down here. Inhale. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back through to center. And exhale, twist to the left. Inhale through to center. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale back through to center. Exhale, twist to the left. If this is easy, you can come upward, bring the hands to prayer. Inhale, twist to the right. Exhale through to center. Inhale, twist to the left. Exhale through to center. And if you're feeling really bollard, so the harder this stuff gets, the more exciting your breath sounds, right? Roll back and roll forward and massage the spine out. cross-stitch your ankles and roll through, press through, or you can bring blocks under your hands to help you get over. So, you know, in Vinyasa yoga, this can get really exciting. I'm just going to cross my knees under, come forward. As I come forward, I'm laying my belly down on the floor. I'm going to create a little hand shelf here. And I can take down whatever ear is comfortable. Bring the knees close together. And I circular sweep the ankles. And you can feel how this massages the stomach, right? Almost immediately. If the belly and the low back are relaxed, this is another way to relax the digestive system. And sometimes I'll just windshield wiper. And then we get into these really giant helicopter circles where you are like learning how to not be so muscularly engaged. So you're letting gravity swing the legs open, and as the legs continue to swing open, your knees start to move toward the edges of the mat. And you find yourself in this weird, floor humping type position. And you can switch ears, you can bring your hands back towards your feet, however you're most comfortable here, but you feel pressure directly in the hip crests as you breathe into the belly. Let's say this is uncomfortable for whatever reason. Integrating props is fine, right? I could put this towel underneath my head. I could put this blanket underneath my belly. I could take the hands down to the hips. So the inside of the ankles and the inside of the knees are toward the floor. Then we're talking deep belly breathing. So we come back to that same breath work that we were doing earlier, where first we had our hand at our belly button, and we would try to breathe down to the pinky and then up into the thumb, and then we keep on going up. So we hit low belly, lumbar spine. You hold the inhale, you travel the breath up into the midribs, you start integrating into the thoracic spine. You inhale just a little more until you can't take any more breath in, and you're starting to get into top of thoracic and cervical spine. And then on the exhale, you feel the spine soften into the floor. And you can do this for as long as needed whenever the digestive system is building up to a flare-up, or if you're experiencing one. If and when you're ready, or you're starting to feel like it's a bit too intense, you could move the feet together and take a forward-facing corpse pose. Big toes touching, heels flopping out, and hands down by the hips, just like your regular corpse pose. Palms open, one ear to the floor. This is a great neck stretch, and honestly, this pose doesn't get taught often enough. I think this could be a Shavasana position in any class, at the end of the class, right? We spend so much time working from the front side of our body. This can bring awareness into the back side of the body and lovely pressure into the front side of the body. And along the way, you have to ask yourself, when am I ready for a neck release? You turn the head and you even it out. So you bring the other ear to the floor. So you could stay here, or you could roll onto your back and complete your digestive process release practice in your final resting pose, as you remind yourself that just that good, slow, deep breathing is so necessary for the digestive system to relax, and for the body to relax, and for your body to efficiently spend energy and decrease and deregulate those stress hormones. So I'm going to encourage you to stay here in this final destination for 3 to 5 minutes at a timer. If you like this, if you want more information, you can check out my website, Republic of Houston. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, all the social media that's up and running. If you have questions or comments, I welcome your feedback.